After 4 rounds of the prestigious Speedcar Pro Series, the tournament has produced 4 different winners, reflecting the competitive nature of the inaugural series. Tonight, many of the nation's best drivers converge on Murray Bridge Speedway in South Australia for round 5, the event doubling as the Tim Crouch Memorial. There's drivers from coast to coast running wheel to wheel at one of the best speed car tracks in Australia. Our coverage supported by Speedway Australia and Speed Cars Australia. On Speed, you're watching Checkered Flag, proudly presented by Valvoline SynPower, delivering the ultimate motor oil protection and performance. Thanks for joining us on the Speed Channel around Australia as we welcome you to Murray Bridge Speedway, round 5 of this inaugural Speedcar Pro Series, an event that, it must be said, has exceeded everybody's expectations in the season of 2013-2014. Murray Bridge, well, this track is tailor-made for the mighty speed cars. Looking forward to this event tonight with no little expectation. We're approaching the business end given that just 2 rounds remain on the other side of tonight's hostilities. Once again, a good field. Let's check the current standings. Mark Brown leads narrowly, 40 points clear of Dane Kingshot. Then Lee Redmond on 1,004 points. Then the first of the Americans in Casey Schumann. Neville Lance, the defending national champion. He's had a wretched tournament really in terms of encountering bad luck, but he's still hanging in there and runs top 5 at this juncture. The Revolution Race Gear Quick Time was conducted a little earlier this afternoon, and Travis Squizzy Mills driving the Graham Racing Developments entry, the fast man, 15.454. You can see the times there very competitive. Let's hear from Travis now.
Well, here we are with the Revolution Race Gear Time Trial winner. Congratulations to Travis Mills. Hold that, Travis. Congratulations, mate. How'd the car feel out there tonight?
Yeah, really good. I thought I'd muck those 2 laps up, to be honest. I come back in the pits cursing myself, but they called me to go back out. We had quick time, so yeah, really pleased. We've been building forward and stepping forward each time we come out, so yeah, this is a good reward for the team.
Yeah, well done to the Graham Racing Developments team. Look, Mark Brown, the current tournament leader, has encountered all sorts of problems. 27th fastest in time trials. It has all gone wrong. Let's find out more.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Drama unfolding here in the pits. An unfortunate start of the evening for Mark Brown, of course, championship leader here in the Speedcar Pro Series. Mark, we can see Lee Redmond concerned. Kingshot's also assisting with the car. Mate, what happened to the car?
I don't know, just we were super quick in all laps. Probably we felt like we're catching everybody, and the motor was probably over-revving a little bit, but geez, she was quick, and then yeah, she just dropped the cylinder. So I'd say it's probably broken a valve. I dropped a valve or broken a rocker. Hopefully it's broken a rocker. We can get back out, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, best thing is can break rockers. They usually can fold up on you, so hopefully it's done that. We might not have heard it too much, but we'll soon find out in about 5 minutes.
What's the worst case scenario for you if it has broken a valve? Is there a chance you'll be back out there?
Oh, no. We ain't got another motor, so drop the valve, you're out, pretty much. Yeah, so if we broke a rocker, could have still done damage to the valve anyway, so we'll just have a look and see what we do.
Aggressive move from Andy Pearce up on the inside there. He outdoes Vaughan Mander's problem. Contact Bennett, and also Blake Mills is up and over off camera. There's Mills. He was pushed into the wall. He flipped too.
The opening lap of Heat 6 at round 2 of the Speedcar Pro Series was a career-defining moment for South Australia's Todd Bennett. Whilst his rollover looked to be fairly non-dramatic, it was the way that the car landed that caused serious concern, and he was taken to hospital in a neck brace as a precaution in case of any back and spinal injuries, but was later cleared by doctors of serious damage. Bennett has since bounced back from the crash, and he can recall vividly the moment that almost brought his racing career to a halt.
Well, it didn't really look that big. It was only a little tumble, but it's just how it landed. It landed really harsh on the chassis rails, and everything just jarred and jolted my back and everything. So it was felt instant pain straight away when I landed, but just been taking it easy. A few massages here and there. It's slowly coming good, but once you're back in the car, you don't really feel it. It's adrenaline takes over, and you don't really feel the pain much. So I guess it's part of racing.
Bennett has been racing speed cars for 3 seasons, having spent a decade in karting. In the 2011-12 season, he was awarded the Speedcar South Australia Rookie of the Year award, and then finished 3rd in the club championship the following summer, winning the Hard Charger award along the way. This term sees him step up to national level competition with the Pro Series, and Bennett admits that the learning experience has been a tough but fulfilling one.
Yeah, we've only started, it's only my 3rd season, so still learning the ropes and finding our feet a bit. It's been tough 3 seasons. We've had our ups and downs and a couple of little stacks, but no, we're getting there.
And Trevor Nucky was instrumental, wasn't he, in getting you involved in the beginning in speed cars. Tell us about that.
Yeah, he was. I started working for Trev probably about 3 years ago, and I had quite itchy feet to get back into racing. Hadn't raced anything for quite a while, and yeah, I started talking to Trev about racing and Speedway and whatnot, and threw around some ideas with Dad as to maybe Formula 500s or lightning sprints or something, and then Trev said, why not a speed car? So, and then went from there. He found us a good car from out of Perth, and we had a look and bought it and got into it.
BCR Motorsport is a small family operation, led by Todd's father Butch Bennett and mum Carolyn. The importance of family support plays a vital role in Bennett's racing.
Oh, the big importance, we're just a little family team, and we've always been into racing, family. Each of us had a kart each. There was about 4 of us. Yeah, all 4 had a kart when we were young. Mum, Dad, my sister, myself, and go around racing karts. And, it's always been in our blood, really. And family's a big thing, and it's good to be able to do it with Dad and Mum, and they enjoy it too, which is good.
Apart from the rollover at Collie, consistency has been the weak link in Bennett's ability to finish races in the Pro Series. He hopes that his luck can turn around at the back end of this inaugural tournament.
Not a lot you can really do, just got to sort of take it on the chin and, turn up the week after and just keep going and keep trying, and hopefully we'll have some luck soon. We need it. We haven't finished an A main yet this season, but series. So tonight is really about finishing and just getting some points to get back up the ladder a bit.
During the program teaser at the commencement of today's show, I alluded to the fact that in the 4 previous rounds they've been won by 4 different winners, certainly reflecting the competitive nature of this event. As we recap that now, Alex Bright, Casey Schumann, Davey Ray, so an American whitewash in the opening 3 rounds, and then the last time we saw this series on TV, Dane Kingshot emerging the victor. This is what happened in the opening 3 heats today.
The 4th running of the Tim Crouch Memorial, doubling as the 5th round of the Speedcar Pro Series, attracted a highly impressive field of 27 cars at Murray Bridge Speedway. It would be a make or break round for a number of drivers still in contention for the inaugural Pro Series crown, and one mistake or mechanical issue could have the potential to be disastrous. The opening heat of the night kicked off in fine style for Speedway Australia's rising star participant, Jamie McKinlay. The 21-year-old from Mittagong in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales got the call-up from K-Tech Rentals team owner Rod Bennett to drive the W26 entry previously driven by Blake Mills and Sean Bradford. He quickly jumped into the lead from Lee Redmond in the early stages, whilst Redmond would slowly fall back into the clutches of Brock Hallett and Travis Mills, who fought the West Aussie for the minor placings. McKinlay would take the eventual win from Hallett and Mills. Redmond would finish 5th with a flat left rear.
Yeah, no, thank you. The track's come in really nice out there, and I'd just like to thank Rod Bennett for giving us this chance after last week's dramas.
South Australian Ben Hall led the field away for Heat 2 and quickly opened up a commanding lead in the first couple of laps from Daryl Nucky. Last round winner Dane Kingshot started out from 6th in the heat and quickly worked his way up through the field to apply pressure to Hall and Nucky. Kingshot would eventually make his way through to the front, passing the South Australians with relative ease. He would cruise to victory from Paul and Nucky. Ryan Jones and Paul Robertson rounded out the top 5.
Yeah, that was a good race. Car was pretty well dialed in, so it's massive thanks to the crew. You know, it's the first time we've been here and they seem to have it dialed in pretty well straight away, so it's great.
Having encountered engine dramas during the Revolution Race Gear QuickTime, Mark Brown was hoping the rest of the night would be relatively smooth sailing. It didn't work out that way for the expat Victorian in Heat 3. Brown had stormed out front from Andy Pearce, Alex Fletcher and Paul Farrell and was comfortably on his way to victory until the engine suddenly died on lap 8. Pearce inherited the lead and fended off Fletcher to take an unlikely heat win from the South Aussie. Scott Glazebrook was third.
Yeah, it was unfortunate Brownie dropped out, but that's racing. We've all dropped out of races before, but we worked up to we started out at 6 and moved through to second pretty quick, so we're pretty happy with how the car's going.
Coming up after the break on Checkered Flag, we pick up the second round of heat action with Heat 4. Plus we profile one of the emerging stars of speed car racing, Lee Redmond.
The midgets for me, they're a small car with nearly 400 horsepower, only weigh 900 pounds. Just the pure acceleration of them and how they're such an angry little car and they're a real challenge to drive, you know. So
you're watching the Speedcar Pro Series on Checkered Flag. Don't go anywhere. Checkered Flag!
You're watching the 19th season of Checkered Flag, proudly presented by Valvoline SynPower, delivering the ultimate motor oil protection and performance.
Welcome back to the Murray Machining and Sheds Murray Brit Speedway in South Australia. Glorious evening for this 5th round of the Speedcar Pro Series. Now our comprehensive racing package set to commence with the running of heat race number 4 with Coombe, Hart, Paul, Golding, Nucky, then Daniel Golding, Robinson, Hallett and Travis Mills. Been very impressed with Brock Hallett so far in this series, the former Formula 500 national champion. I think he's exceeded expectations in many respects. So we are set for a start with Coombe and Hart sharing the front row. Really good speed car track. This Ben Hall jumped straight out of the second row, ducked down on the low line and took the race lead. Daryl Nucky also makes progress. Likewise, the driver of car 15 in Rob Golding. And they are coming from everywhere in the early stages of this race.
Yeah, everybody's going pretty mental to get to the front of this heat race. 71, Ben Hall got a great start, moved into the lead, and he's taking a commanding gap now.
Nucky very aggressive during the early stages here. Travis Mills also looking for room on the inside to effect a pass on Rob Golding as these cars negotiate the bottom turns and sweep back onto the back straightaway. The 92 car of Matthew Coombe, who started on the front row, is now upside down. I was about to say still clinging to a top 3 spot. Clips the wheel and on the pit turn he ends up flipping the machine.
Yeah, Dave, I think an aggressive move by Brock Hallett there may have started that whole incident running. He was challenging Travis Mills very heavily.
On the Valvoline SynPower replay, Matthew Coombe gets it wrong, then hits a rut, then touches a car on his inside, Daryl Nucky.
I'll be corrected. That wasn't the case at all. There's 2 separate things going on at the same time.
That's all right. We have the benefit of the replay. So race restart, single file formation, heat race number 4. New leader, it's Daryl Nucky in advance of Rob Golding. The tearaway Ben Hall, who got a great start last time, is being swamped by 2 cars moving up on the inside. Brock Hallett is one of them, and Mills also applying plenty of pressure. Not a bad race up front here between Nucky in the green car, and he's about to be overtaken by Rob Golding. Nice move on the inside. He left the room, and the new race leader made him pay.
The track's got a few multiple lines ranging from the bottom to the middle and also around the top, like Brock Hallett's running up there at the moment. Basically 4 wheels above the cushion. Slides back to the inside, gets the run off turn 2 and slide jobs into second in turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, track fairly slick. Early in this race meeting, Brock Hallett has done well. Started from position 8 on the grid. Now challenging for second. He goes by on the outside now of Daryl Nucky. And wow, Hallett, super exciting through the pit turns. Hits a rut. The front wheels lift on the machine. He drops a spot. Well, this is madness.
Yeah, he's certainly not leaving anything behind here. Hallett's been on it from right from the get-go, and I think he's found every hole in the joint along the way.
Caution lights on. So Paul Robinson and Daniel Golding getting tangled up midway between turns 1 and 2, bringing on the amber lights. So we come back to single file formation. Another race restart here in heat race number 4. It's been an absolute beauty. Cars all over the shop. Hallett has been super exciting. Rob Golding leads them away. In advance of Daryl Nucky, here's Hallett having a look upstairs in the yellow and black car, and he blasts by on the outside of Daryl Nucky. And here comes Brock Hallett now, out after the race leader, Rob Golding. Oh, he washed up very high on the track there, lost some ground.
He's using every inch there, Sammy. He's carrying some momentum here, but wow, he's not leaving anything to the imagination.
No, he's definitely giving it his all. He's just catching a couple of ruts every now and again on the outside. It's just upsetting the car, and unfortunately loses a bit of momentum. But when he gets it right, he's lightning fast.
Here he comes, Hallett, applying pressure to Rob Golding. He sticks with the outside run. Golding down low. Hallett upstairs. He got caught up in the marbles there, really. Fairly loose on the exit to turn number 4. And across the start-finish line, it was Golding that blasted to win. Hallett, what a drive from position number 8. Spectators here got their value for money in the first race that we showed you on today's program. Outstanding.
Tremendous performance to Rob Golding, the Heat 4 winner tonight here at the Tim Crouch Memorial at Murray Bridge. And Rob, it seems like the top of the track slightly quicker, but what a topsy-turvy battle that was.
Yeah, it was good. I tried sort of both lines, but I was able to launch off the corners pretty good, so I just decided to stay low, and that way people couldn't try and go underneath me, I guess. But it was pretty good. I held off some pretty big names, and first heat win, I'm absolutely wrapped.
It was a solid drive, all right, by Golding. Heat 5. We'll see Caddy and Mark Brown sharing the front row. A wretched night for the Brendan Fox Showpiece Signs team. Mark Brown has had everything go wrong thus far. McKinley and Murphy, Redmond Fletcher, Jordan Crouch, and Neville Lance, the reigning Australia champion, off the back in car number 11. So who will it be? Caddy in 16 has pole position. They stand on the gas. What will Brown do? Well, he finds the holes in the track immediately. The car resembling a pogo stick as he bounces his way through the turns. But the leader is Caddy under pressure from McKinley.
Brown just not his night, is it? I mean, he's had trouble since he got here, and he gave it all. He's all into turn 1 and just caught every bump on the way in, and lucky not to be rolled over, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you're right, Sam. Very, very lucky there not to roll over. That car was seconds away from being a disaster.
Well, speaking of disaster, as we look out the back of Mark Brown's car, we've got a couple of machines getting into trouble. Jamie Crouch in the black machine and Troy Jordan in the Cycle House entry. And also another car involved up on the top of the banking. I think it was Alex Fletcher. Look from a different angle on the fence cam. And that's nasty.
Yeah, I think Fletcher got around there and started the whole thing going. The other two guys ended up being bystanders.
So the Valvoline SynPower race restart. Big thanks to Valvoline SynPower, principal sponsor of Checkered Flag on the Speed Channel once again in 2013-14. Back straight, and Tim Caddy is the leader. You're looking at McKinley in the 26 car. Caddy has been passed meanwhile by Lee Redmond. The West Australian gets up on the inside and takes the lead and has cleared out now by about 4 car lengths. So Redmond continuing his good form in this championship.
Redmond's been looking strong really every round, and he's looking really nice out front at the moment, utilising the bottom of the racetrack really well, getting good drive, holding pretty decent momentum around the inside in the middle of the corner, and at the moment Brown's actually moving up as well.
Yeah, Mark Brown driving hard, trying to make up for the problems he encountered early in this race, hitting those ruts and dropping several positions. That is Caddy. You can see out the back of that onboard camera. Also Paul Murphy in the Speedway shop entry is running in close proximity.
I noticed the cars in this race, Sammy, that they're being quite selective of their lines now, trying to stay away from some of these holes. Some of these holes will eat up some of these midgets, and by being a bit more selective, the momentum's not there like we saw in the first heat.
Yeah, well, with the previous heat, obviously Brock Hallett was using the outside to his advantage, but in this heat, nobody seems to be willing to get up there and dance.
It ain't no waltz out there tonight. Redmond down the main straight again, cutting down low for the run through turns 1 and 2. Gee, this man has really picked up some fans this season. The former bike racer doing a tremendous job in speed cars. We do have a feature story on Lee Redmond later on today's program. That's worth catching. The driver of car 52 is clearing out here, putting on a clinic in heat race number 5.
As I said earlier, he's doing a very good job to keep the car straight and keep the drive and momentum going forward. When the tracks are like this, nice and slick, it's hard to get all your power to the ground, and he's doing an excellent job of making the most of it.
Mark Brown we saw battling away with Tim Caddy, and in the meantime Lee Redmond takes a very comfortable win across the line. McKinlay was second, then Mark Brown, Tim Caddy and Paul Murphy in the 35 machine, finishing in the top 5. Here's the winner.
Well, not another Houdini act from this man. Lee Redmond, he did it last week, just when things looked like they weren't going to happen for him. You've qualified for the top 7 shootout, of course. Tim Crouch Memorial, big night tonight, and you came from last to first in an amazing heat performance.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, we got the car right that time, and yeah, just seemed to get the opportunities right, and just drove a good, like a patient race, and a couple of guys dropped off at the front. We just made mistakes, and we just capitalised on that, and yeah, worked our way to the front, and then we sort of pulled away a bit, which was great.
It was a stellar drive by Leroy, as he is affectionately known. So we now look forward to the final qualifying heat with no little expectation. Keith Astrella and Brad Day, Ryan Jones, the multiple national 360 sprint car champion, Paul Farrell, Andy Pearce, Todd Bennett, Scotty Glazebrook, Dane Kingshot, David May. This is a hot field. Astrella in the red machine on the inside of the front row. Can Day go with him as we go green here at the Murray Machining and Sheds Murray Bridge Speedway? Good start on the inside by Astrella. Ryan Jones from the second row coming quickly. That's him on the top of the racetrack in car number 41. And I think you'll find he'll take the lead here very shortly.
Yeah, Jones took advantage of everybody trying to crowd the bottom off the start and jumped straight up to the top side and let her rip around the outside.
Riding on board with Todd Bennett, Valvoline SynPower, race cam, and Jones hasn't been able to get to the front yet. It is Astrella still leading. Astrella hugging the low line. Good crowding tonight at Murray Bridge. Good atmosphere as the top 3 in heat race number 6 do it tough out in front. A few holes out there making it very challenging.
Yeah, Jones found one of those holes then. I notice Jones and Pearce are hanging to the top side to try and build some momentum on this leader. So far, no luck, but I think if they stick with it, they'll get there.
Lap 4 of 10. The action continues. Astrella doing a fine job. We can see that Andy Pearce has gone forward. Pearce in the Victorian 5 car has gone from position 5 up to second. Good drive by Andy, who is the president of Speed Cars Australia. And he's been able to pass Ryan Jones. Jones is working feverishly in the cockpit of that car. You can see his elbows flashing in the cockpit, but just can't get the traction to go forward right now.
And just behind these guys, you got both Glazebrook and also Kingshot, 2 of the fastest guys in the field tonight, and they're trying to work their way up as well.
Yeah, Kingshot, last round winner at Speedway City. Regular viewers of Checkered Flag would recall seeing that event a couple of weeks ago on our show. And we have amber lights on now. There's some debris on the circuit. Officials left with no option other than to stop the race, remove the debris, and we go back racing now. Green flag conditions. This time we see Ryan Jones on the inside. Oh, he and Pearce and Astrella. Astrella and Pearce have come off the worst for wear. Also Paul Farrell in the number 2 car. So They didn't manage to go 100 metres after that race restart, and we go amber again.
Looks like Estrella just gets loose on the entry to turn 1, half loops the car, and unfortunately Pearce has nowhere to go and tags him in the rear.
The only positive to emerge out of that was the fact that none of the cars were too badly damaged. It was fairly gentle, it's got to be said. Ryan Jones upstairs. Reached the green flag and we're back underway. Dane Kingshot is second. Now Scott Glazebrook is third, so they have done particularly well. But of course their move forward was aided and abetted by that incident involving the likes of Andy Pearce.
And Kingshot just shot through there on the inside. Jones was trying to make that top work and got it too wide and nearly caught the fence.
So new race leader, you can see there Glazebrook in the 3 car, involved in a good battle with Ryan Jones. But Dane Kingshot in the Bunbury Subaru entry. He too has gained plenty of fans across Australia this season. Tremendous young talent, only knows one way. It is flat out. Across the start-finish line he runs. Glazebrook keeping him in his sights.
Yeah, possibly even running him down slightly. But Glazebrook's really working that inside and grabbing a few points of the racetrack where there's still a little bit of moisture in the middle of the corner and using that to his advantage. But it's going to be very hard to catch and pass for the lead now.
Yeah, Glazebrook in the K-Tech Rentals entry has finished second. Checkered flag time with Kingshot too good in heat 6. It's Scott, followed by Ryan and Todd Bennett, Keith Estrella. So that concludes the heat racing as we hear from our winner.
Well, heat 6 winner Dane Kingshot, who's making a habit of winning of late. And Dane, nice drive there. You just got under Ryan Jones from the restart there. You found some value from the inside of the track.
Yeah, we're just running down the bottom there. It looked like a bit of heavy dirt there, so just trying to get the right rear stuck in it and get around him. So it was pretty good. He seems pretty fast, so yeah, we're happy to win that one as well.
Kingshot, a great talent. You'll be hearing plenty about him in the future. Now the pole shuffle, Super 7s, very popular part of the format of the Speedcar Pro Series, conducted a short time ago. Unfortunately, time not allowing us to bring you the Super 7s pole shuffle in its entirety. But in the opening stanza, Lee Redmond and Jamie Crouch were eliminated as Travis Mills and Dane Kingshot showed them the way home. The format for this is, after each stanza, the 2 drivers running at the back of the field pull to the infield and take no further part. It's contested by the top 7, and you can see what a great race it was between Travis Mills and Dane Kingshot. Jordan and Hallett were duly eliminated from the next phase, and that left the 3 out there, being Dane Kingshot, Travis Mills and Scotty Glazebrook. And of course this is all about determining the top 7 positions on the grid for the main event. So Kingshot, continuing his sparkling form, wins the Super 7's pole shuffle, and by virtue of that will start on pole in the main event, and beside him will be Travis Mills, followed by Glazebrook, Jordan, Hallett, Redmond and Jamie Crouch. I've mentioned Lee Redmond a couple of times today. He's had a wonderful season. Here's more about his career.
After 4 rounds of the Speedcar Pro Series, Western Australia's Lee Redmond has become the surprise performer of this season's inaugural contest. The former Speedway solo rider was initially scheduled to contest only the opening 3 rounds. But when South Australian driver Ben Dillon was forced to withdraw as a contracted driver, Redmond received an offer by series organisers to take his place by virtue of his good form. Since he stepped away from the handlebars, Redmond has been racing speed cars for the past 3 seasons, following a stint in wingless sprints. And he has nothing but praise for this exciting form of speedway racing.
Mate, for me, the Speedcar division is it's everything. It's the competitors, the guys you race against. We race against the likes this year of Dane Kingshot and Scott Glazebrook, Brownie. We're on the East Coast, guys like Todd Wanless, and you can only learn so much. You can learn so much from those guys. And the midgets for me, they're a small car with nearly 400 horsepower, only weigh 900 pounds. Just the pure acceleration of them and how they're such an angry little car, and they're a real challenge to drive. So.
During his career on two wheels, which commenced in 1991, Redmond won the Western Australian Under-21 Solo Championship and qualified for the Senior Australian title of that year. He then travelled to England in 1993, riding for the Kings Lynn Stars in the British Elite League. In 1996, he won the Western Australian Solo Championship before returning to England to ride again for Kings Lynn and then Sheffield, where he finished his career. He recalls his time racing solos as an important role in his development as a competitor.
Mate, like I was like 20, 21 I think when I left to go, so it was pretty new to life, I suppose you could say, particularly going over east. We've done a little bit of racing over east, but there's a whole different scenario when you're racing obviously overseas. I went there with two bikes, and my dad basically let me take the bikes that I was riding from here, and yeah, every track we went to was a new one. I think I did something like, I think you do roughly around about 20 tracks on the circuit, and yeah, it was just finding the places sometimes was half the trouble, and getting there,
During his time in solos, Redmond suffered the worst accident of his career 1 week after winning the Western Australian solo title in 1996.
Yeah, mate, 96, the week before we won the WA State title, and when I was riding, you had to qualify for the Australian title. The Australian title was in Brisbane at the exhibition grounds. Really nice track, good facility. And the week before they'd had, funny enough, it had speed cars there, and where the grass comes up as you're coming out of the corner, there was a few bumps, and I happened to hit one of those in my second heat race and landed upside down in the concrete fence, and I broke my back in 4 places, fractured my pelvis, and generally lots of big dose of concussion. I couldn't feel my legs for a good 25 minutes. I'd actually thought I'd severed my spine. Luckily for me, in the next 3 or 4 hours in the hospital, I slowly got feeling and pins and needles back into my feet, so I'm very fortunate.
The days of riding solos have long since passed, and Redmond has now found a successful second career racing speed cars. It's a class that he's enjoyed both as a driver and spectator, and he owes thanks to Wayne Cover, who introduced him to racing in this class.
Yeah, Wayne gave me the opportunity to race a speed car 2 years ago. I'd been racing wingless cars, and we won the track championship that in our second year, and I was having a lot of fun with it, but I'd always wanted to race speed cars. That's what I really wanted to do most of my life. My dad raced speed cars in the 70s, and that's where his heart is, and that's probably where mine's always been. Wayne gave us an opportunity to race his speed car last year and the year before, and that really put us in the next stepping stone to buy our own car.
On Speed, you're watching the 19th season of Checkered Flag, proudly presented by Valvoline Sin Power, delivering the ultimate motor oil protection and performance.
Well, it's time for another episode of The Woman Behind the Man, and we're now with Todd Bennett's better half and girlfriend, the lovely Miss Renee White. Renee, thanks for joining us, and please start by telling us, how did you and Todd meet?
Well, I used to work for the Flinders News in Port Pirie, and I used to visit Todd and his family from Butch Bennett Crash Repairs, and I used to love talking to Todd. He was a lovely person, and he was a bit alright, and we just started talking and all went from there.
What was it about Todd that really just hit the spot for you?
His sweet personality and his good looks.
He is a bit of a looker, isn't he?
Sure is.
You've done quite well there, Renee, and obviously you're here at the track supporting him. Is that something you do quite often?
Oh, most definitely. I'm normally at most of his race meetings, so I like to be here. Normally I wash the car, but I've got a night off tonight because Colby's here, so yeah, I can sit back and relax.
What do the two of you enjoy perhaps away from the Speedway when you've got some spare time and there's nothing to do with race cars?
We normally do a bit around home. We're a pretty quiet couple. I wouldn't mind going on a holiday, maybe doing some fishing or something. But yeah.
And you and Todd, you do seem really happy. How would you sum up your relationship together in 5 words or less?
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Perfect. That is a very precise word. Main event time, Murray Machining and Sheds, Murray Bridge Speedway, the 4 wide salute. Round 5 of the Speedcar Pro Series. You can see the track has been freshly prepped. You may have in fact noticed that during our highlights coverage of the Super 7's pole shuffle. They needed to have a crack at getting rid of some of those holes, and they've done so. Kingshot, Mills, Jordan, Glazebrook, Hallett, Redmond, Crouch, Robinson, then Nucky, Todd, Bennett in the 17 car. We'll start from P10. A big thanks to Speedcars Australia and Speedway Australia for assisting in bringing you this coverage. Pierce out of 11, McKinley, Hall, Fletcher, Jones, Murphy. And a big gap back to Brown, Golden Caddy and Farrell. So Mark Brown in the 9 car. His charge from position 17 will be interesting. There's the social media addresses for the Speedcar Pro Series. We're underway at Murray Bridge Speedway. Kingshot, he leads them down the back straight the first time. Mills is under siege from the driver of car 11, and that is Jordan. Jordan up into second spot now. Good move by the driver of the Victorian car 11. Brock Hallett makes good progress too. He moves up to 4th on the circuit. Onto the main straight, Kingshot the leader.
Kingshot is going to be very hard to run down and beat to the line. I think tonight he's looked really good all evening in his heat races and throughout the night he's looked very smooth and very calculated.
Saw Andy Pierce there, getting close together with Lee Redmond. They didn't touch. It is all Dane Kingshot leading during the early stages of this race. We've mentioned a couple of times, as has Drury in the pits, that tonight doubling as the prestigious Tim Crouch Memorial. It's an emotional race for many people in South Australian Speedway. We ride on board with Todd Bennett, lap 5 of 30. There's Hallett.
We just saw Scotty Glazebrook there, who came out of P3 or 4 in this race, and he's fallen well back now, somewhere back around the 8th place. He couldn't be too happy with that, Sam.
No, he started up the front and he's slowly worked his way backwards. I'm sure he'd be pretty upset with himself at the moment.
I also noticed there, Hallett, he's making a real bid for this around the top side. He seems to be one of the few guys tonight that's been able to make that top work. He's just moved around Jordan, he's made his way past Mills, and now he's pretty much setting sail for our leader, Kingshot.
Yeah, we saw him. He was really the only one that was committed to run up there earlier in the night in the heat races, and to be honest, he's probably the first guy that's really got up there and worked it to his advantage so far in the feature.
Incident on turn 4. Crouch in machine number 7 has come together with Nucky, so hence the amber lights come on. It's intense racing out here. A circuit conducive to this class. Track starting to slicken off again as we look out the back. On the Valvoline SynPower onboard camera, you can see at the very top of screen a couple of drivers coming together. So Kingshot gets us back underway at Murray Bridge. The fence cam. Good shot there on the exit to turn number 4. Hallett upstairs looking for something special. May have found it. He's out after Dane Kingshot. A wall of cars further back led by Jordan and Mills. Here's Hallett now to the top of the track as we see the amber lights come on again. A race punctuated by stoppages, and Caddy in 16 looping the model on the pit corners. You can see other cars involved include Nucky.
Scotty Glazebrook also caught up there on the outside of turn 3 and 4.
On board for Valvoline SynPower. And it just shows again at the top of the screen where it all went wrong. So single file formation. Still a lot of cars in the race.
Troy Jordan's getting very lucky here. That's twice he's been put back into second. Let's see if he can make it work this time.
Well, it's just funny, after that last restart, I'm pretty sure basically the top 7 or 8 cars were all running to the outside, except for Kingshot. He's the only one, I guess, being in the front. He doesn't really know that everybody's starting to get on that high side yet.
That's right, Sammy. These cars have no mirrors. You don't know what's going on behind you. And Hallett showed the nose just before that last amber. Now Jordan's given it a run up there. I think it won't be long before we see Kingshot, who moves right now to the top of the racetrack.
it's funny, you know, he's been out front and running that inside, and as soon as he saw that nose of Jordan, who just got smoked by Mills and Hallett at the same time, he moved straight to the top.
Yeah, he got smoked because he put the car up into the marbles at the top of the speedway, and it's just like chalk dust. Just spinning the rear wheels. Now Travis Mills on the inside of Dane Kingshot. Kingshot having none of it, and he dive bombs him on the inside to come back again. Excellent entertainment up front.
All those guys in the top four have pretty much made the same mistake within the last lap and a half. They're running the top, and they end up in the marbles, and they lose a lot of momentum, and somebody slips through on the inside.
Yeah, it's also almost it's a kind of thing where instead of running right up in the cushion, you've actually got to sort of run next to it, it seems like. Otherwise, if you get too high, it's almost, as you've said, Warren, it's like running on marbles, and it wants to suck the car to the fence.
That's it. Oh, there's a tight move by Mills. He really put the slide job on and ended up on his lid.
Okay, so Mills upside down. Also, 71 gets tipped over in a spectacular incident. Ben Hall, can't remember a main event as punctuated by incidents. Is the general manager of the track here, Tim McAvaney, getting across to check on the welfare of Travis Mills. Another look. Mills up the inside, overcooks it. Comes into contact with Kingshot. Over he goes, gentle enough. Then, of course, Hall in 71 gets caught up in it, and he'll come barrel rolling into the picture right now.
A pity for Mills and both himself and the Graham Racing Developments race team. It's good to see them up front.
So a look from the onboard of Dane Kingshot. Over goes Mills, and then Hall follows suit. Let's find out more.
Travis, mate, we'll just grab a quick word. Obviously very disappointed.
Yeah, understatement. My own fault. Probably just trying too hard to go for the win too early.
Well, you've won this event before, so you know what it takes to win.
Yeah, the car was pretty good actually. It was early on, made a few adjustments with the shocks, and it was coming in pretty good sitting there behind Dane, and just got too eager too early. That's all it is.
Yeah, Travis Mills not happy with himself. So Kingshot to lead Brock Hallett away. Let's see what unfolds here. It's been an extraordinary night of speed car racing. It has all been happening. And look, Kingshot's going backwards. He's got problems with that car. So Hallett has charged to the front. Dane Kingshot dropping places dramatically.
Yeah, he's definitely got a rear suspension issue there. The car, you can actually see it flicking up dirt. It's bottoming out. Whether it's maybe a rear stop or torsion, well, it wouldn't be a torsion arm, but probably a torsion bar stop. Yeah, unfortunately, he's just had the damage from that previous crash.
Hallett's making pay on the top line here too, Sammy. Now, since Kingshot's had that error, and we said it earlier, Hallett was the guy that went upstairs, ventured, learnt, and he's putting it down right now and towards the end of the race.
Look out the back of Mark Brown's car. Brown making progress too. I remind you, he had a wretched night. Started this main event from position 17. He's gone well forward of there, but still a bunch of work to do to reel in our top three that you are presently looking at. Hallett, McKinlay. As the battle continues, we're riding on board with Dane Kingshot, who is just ambling around the bottom of the speedway with a very sick race car in an effort to try and maximise his points haul. Redmond up on the inside of McKinlay. Hallett clear-cut leader.
McKinlay's done an excellent job to come up through the field too. He was outside the top 10 off the start, and he's picked his way through to the front and got himself into a podium position.
Sweeping through the pit turns, the South Australian former Formula 500 national title holder, Brock Hallett. Well clear. Tremendous race in second between McKinlay and Lee Redmond.
Redmond's doing a good job of sticking it there on the inside. Oh, Brownie's in the wall, upside down. His night continues, Dave.
Yeah. If he wasn't having bad luck, it's no luck at all.
That's right.
As far as tonight is concerned, you can see how black slick the track is. Brown was involved in a heated battle out there with Ryan Jones. He tried to stick it up on the inside, And if you look at the top of the screen, you'll see he gets off the black racing line into the marbles, hits the wall. It's all over. What a terrible night he's had. Let's go down to Drury.
Mark Brown, it's been a roller coaster of an evening for you. You're actually in 8th position after only 7 laps. You're looking like you're moving nicely up the field there at one point.
Yeah, no, we had a couple of good start then, and just playing with shocks. You know, we were a little tired early, and car was coming on, but yeah, I think when Dane didn't go, it sort of snowballed, and I got caught in amongst it. About 2 or 3 cars got by there, and just trying to make a position, and just done something stupid. You know, I knew it was loose up top, and I just went in, tried a slide job, and just nothing to hold. You know, it's my own fault. Should have just stayed where I was, and would have been leading still. But yeah, I think Lee Redmond's pretty well got it now from here.
Okay, so Mark Brown conceding that Lee Redmond is the man to beat in the championship with 2 rounds remaining after tonight at Nowra and Warrnambool. And we ride with Mark as he tips the showpiece signs entry upside down. One of those things. Now, Dane Kingshot has also had problems. We know his Drury.
Dane, what on earth happened? The restart started and your car went from first to last.
Oh, well, you know, just drivers out there not even in the points putting stupid moves on, and it's cost us a whole heap of points now and probably the championship. So, I mean, we had a car running, you know, we could run top 3 tonight, and now we've got a DNF. So I'm really disappointed, to be honest. I think it's pretty average move. I know people make mistakes, but, you know, the guy's not in the points, I am, and it just, you know, it's not good.
Dane Kingshot bitterly disappointed. So Brock Hallett finds himself in front. Who will ever forget the drive from this man in heat race number 4? He tore this place apart and plans on doing that in the remaining 11 laps of this main event. Andy Pearce moves up on the inside of the V5 car, running competitively at a track he's done plenty of laps at.
Well, McKinley have feel unlucky on that restart. He jumped out there in second, thought he'd stick it on the top and got in the marbles and dropped about 4 spots, which shows you how much of a risk it is to be running around that top line.
Now Lee Redmond finds himself with some clean air. In second spot, riding on board now with Todd Bennett. 9 laps to go. The number 2 car of Paul Farrell running behind him. So Redmond doing an outstanding job. He's the driver to beat here. He sees a gap and up on the inside he goes. Lee Redmond takes it. Hallett has a go back on the inside, and I do mean the inside. He used all of the track and a bit more.
Sammy, we were commenting about that earlier, where Redmond was sticking it down just a little bit below the cushion and finding some grip. I wouldn't mind betting there's a little bit of rubber down on this racetrack, which is helping him stick the car.
That was the only thing I could really think of. I mean, he looks very fast right through the black line of 1 and 2, and actually Hallett's starting to use it there and just run up off it a little bit off the corner. But yeah, obviously something a little bit of rubber maybe on the track and just helping him stick to the racetrack.
Now Ryan Jones has a crack at Hallett on the inside and prevails. A replay for Valvoline Synth Power of Hallett upstairs. Redmond thought, how good's this? Gritted his teeth, planted the right foot and surged to the front. Hallett tried to do something about it but couldn't. All the momentum with the driver of the 52 car.
Jones puts the big bonsai move on Hallett as well for the second spot and gets it done, and a lot of experience there.
He very much moved Hallett out of the way there, didn't he, Sammy?
Yeah, it was either get out of the gas or I'm coming through.
Scott Glazebrook aggressive in the latter stages of this race. Only a couple of laps to go, and Lee Redmond is going to win this one barring unforeseen circumstances. 5 rounds of the Speedcar Pro Series, 5 different winners. How good is this?
That's some great racing there, David. And you know what? I think Lee Redmond's going to make it happen again here. And it is rubber. You can see those rear wheels starting to go black on the tread patch. He's the first guy to found it, and he's made it a win for himself.
Well done. Last lap now. Lee Redmond in the Redmond Transport entry. Down the back straight. Sets up for the slide through pit turn. And Lee Redmond will win round 5 of the Speedcar Pro Series. Jones, a fine drive in second. He's done more laps around this track than any other driver in the field. Brock Hallett third. And Lee's not happy at all. I wish he'd stop holding back. Now the Valvoline SynPower race recap. I mean, where are we going to start with this recap? There were so many incidents.
There's action upon action here, right from the very first lap. You can see on the start there. Kingshot and Mills put on a hell of a race up front. Would have been nice to see this one go a bit longer.
Yeah, no doubt. Kingshot on the inside in 24. They were out there playing for keeps, and that's where it all became messy. Mills up the inside, got it wrong, crossed up, and hence the dominoes effect, as we also saw the driver of 71, Ben Hall, getting upside down. Mark Brown, he further punctuated a very frustrating night with another incident. He ended up upside down on the pit turns. He was challenging on the inside of Ryan Jones. On the restart, Hallett led them away, but it wasn't long before he was passed by a flying Lee Redmond. And then Ryan Jones followed suit as well and got himself up into second. But Redmond, a tremendous performance tonight, takes the win.
Third place tonight, Tim Crouch Memorial goes to Brock Hallett. And Brock, I've got to admit, there were stages there where I thought you were going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, you know, we started off in fifth and then, you know, raced away, just was patient with the start. And, you know, we went to the top pretty early and no one else was up there, and it paid off. You know, we passed a lot of cars and then we sort of got mucked around a bit with restarts. But, you know, we led for, you know, probably nearly the majority of the race, and, you know, the guys behind me just found the rubber before I did and, you know, passed me. But I had a lot of fun. You know, the track was really good, and, you know, I can't wait for next weekend.
Second place tonight goes to Ryan Jones of Burt Fenton Racing. And Ryan, it's extra significance for you tonight, considering you knew the Crouch family so well and so personally.
Correct, yeah. Like I said on the podium, you know, I grew up racing dirt go-karts from the age of 4 right through to, you know, we started racing sprint cars, you know, in my early 20s. So I grew up with Jamie and Tim. We parked on the same piece of concrete for, you know, probably 15 years of our childhood and 2 into our early adulthoods, and just knew them really well. Families, you know, went racing together as families. So, you know, I can really understand what the race is about and the meaning behind it. So to do well in it was really good, but to come up 4 or 5 cars short, sort of a bitter pill to swallow. But
the winner victorious tonight here at Murray Bridge, Lee Redmond, for his first ever speed car victory. Lee, how's it feel, mate?
Mate, it feels amazing. You know, we had a pretty tough start to the night. We qualified bad, but we started out at 6, and yeah, we were a bit fortunate. And Dane Kingshot, he was going real quick, and he had a rear stop brake on his car, so I could see that going. And then Travis Mills flipped over, and I thought, oh, this could be our night tonight. So I just was patient. I got into third, and we had a stoppage about, I think it was about 12 laps to go. And I asked one of the guys that was out in the track, I said, what's my right rear like? And they said, it's actually not bad. And I thought, yeah, it's our night. So I went real hard, and we got to the lead within the first, I think it was about lap 8, and seemed to pull away a bit from there, which was great, mate.
Well done to Lee Redmond, holding a nice trophy there too. He leads the Speedcar Pro Series with 2 rounds to go on 1,334 points. Gee, it's tightly packed, the leaderboard, particularly the top 4, Kingshot, Brown and Glazebrook. Mark Brown's still in with a chance, mathematically, no doubt about it. And I reckon that Neville Lance has not given up hope just yet, with a couple of races to go in the Australia 1 car. Speedway Racing News is essential reading. A major feature story about the future of solo racing in Australia, and also an exclusive interview with the legendary Steve Kinser, who's set to wrap it all up at the end of the 2014 season. What a driver he has been, in the opinion of many, the greatest race car driver that has ever lived. Of course, next week on Checkered Flag, we go sprint car racing with the AHG Sprint Car Series. It is the West Australian Sprint Car Championship, and that comes your way Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and we do look forward to your company then. Now, also a reminder about our special 90-minute program featuring the running of the 2014 Australian Speed Car Championship from Speedway City. It's a standalone program, and it comes your way on January 28 at 9 p.m. Eastern. That is a program well worth watching, featuring, I'm sure, the very best drivers from Australia and a couple of very handy Americans too. There's Lee Redmond, the winner here tonight, on behalf of the entire crew here at Murray Machining and Sheds, Murray Bridge Speedway, and my co-commentators Warren Ferguson and Sammy Walsh. I'm David Tapp. Good night.
You've been watching Checkered Flag on Speed, proudly presented by Valvoline SynPower. delivering the ultimate motor oil protection and performance.